Let's look at a really important chapter in the Bible, Genesis chapter 1. It's surprising how often people, even Christians, skip over or ignore the truths found in this foundational chapter. But think about it, if we brush aside the very beginning, how can we fully grasp the rest of God's word? Especially when some of us lean into theories like evolution, which are largely based on assumptions. Today we're going back to the roots, to where it all started. God created the universe in 6 days and rested on the seventh, but did you know that creation wasn't just some random process? It was carefully planned, systematic, and intentional. Understanding that makes it easier to grasp the order of everything. In the first 3 days, God dealt with the fact that the world was formless. In the next 3 days, he filled that empty world. Think of it like setting the stage and then bringing the actors on. On the first day, God said, "Let there be light." This wasn't sunlight, because the sun wasn't created until day 4. This light came from God himself, just as Jesus later said, "I am the light of the world." On the second day, God created the sky, separating the waters above from the waters below. The water above wasn't like the clouds we see today. It was a huge canopy of water. This canopy stayed in place until Noah's flood, when God opened the windows of heaven and it rained for 40 days. The earth was moist in this beautiful environment that was most suitable for plants and trees. Then on the third day, God gathered the waters to form seas and dry land. Then he made the land sprout with all kinds of plants and trees, each producing seeds to reproduce after their kind. On the fourth day, the spotlights came on. The sun, moon, and stars were set in place. Then, on the fifth day, the supporting actors, birds and sea creatures, made their entrance. Finally, on the sixth day, the main characters arrived. The animals of the land, and then the crown of God's creation, created in God's image, that is us. We're created in God's image. We've been given the amazing responsibility to rule over and care for everything God has made. Now, what can we learn from Genesis chapter 1? God created everything in 6 literal days. Each day is marked by the phrase, "There was evening and there was morning," emphasizing the completion of each day. This wasn't some symbolic or drawn-out process. Think about this. We are made in his image. That means we have the ability to think, create, and innovate. God gave us the role of ruling over the earth, stewarding it, nurturing it, and using our talents to reflect his glory. And how did God intend to fill his world? Through multiplication. Genesis 1 emphasizes this. He didn't just add creatures one by one. He created them to multiply after their kind. Let's take birds, for example. Imagine one bird gives birth to 10 baby birds. Those 10 baby birds grow up, and each produces 10 more birds. After just one generation, you don't have 10 birds, you have 100. That's the way God intended his creation to grow, rapidly, exponentially, and in abundance. This is the seed truth of how God grows things. Sadly, many churches today don't fully grasp this principle of multiplication. They rely on big events or outreach programs to add a few people here and there, but God's plan is so much bigger. It's not just about adding members one by one. It's about every believer going out, making disciples, who, in turn, make more disciples. That's how the kingdom grows, through multiplication, not addition. Another truth from Genesis 1. God is personal. He speaks, he interacts. This isn't some distant, unknown force. This is a God who invites us into a relationship. And when we take the time to really see his creation, from the tallest mountains to the tiniest creatures, everything around us shouts the existence of God. The beauty, the complexity, the order, it all points back to the Creator. And God chose to reveal this to us clearly in his word. So now is the time to put your trust in God, the Creator, not in created things. He made everything we see, including you and me, for a purpose. Put your trust in the Creator today. Believe and be part of his kingdom.